Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today's mission is, well, I think it's our most ambitious yet.
I'd agree with that.
We've got a stack of sources that are all over the map. We're jumping from these super specific personal manifestation secrets.
Right. And celebrity social critiques.
All the way over to high-stakes trade algorithms and, the future of digital government.
It looks like total chaos on the surface. But when we really dug in, this incredible unifying theme it popped out.
And what was that?
That whether you're just one person chasing a massive dream or you're a government trying to manage millions of transactions, everyone is searching for the ultimate strategy. A shortcut, a formula, something to define success, measure value, and just navigate this extreme unpredictability we all live in.
And that's really the core of this deep dive. We're going to synthesize how people and these huge complex systems use rigid strategies and sometimes, just sheer audacity to try and get some control.
Exactly. We've got everything from next-gen computer tomography for cargo security to a surprisingly non-woo-woo formula for achieving your biggest goals.
Okay, so let's unpack that personal formula first. One of our sources literally calls it a strategy masterclass. And the first step isn't just wanting something, it's demanding it unapologetically. It's about replacing humility with grandeur.
And that's where the strategy part really starts. The sources insist on this almost operational level of detail.
What do you mean by operational?
Well, it's not enough to say I want to be wealthy or I want a better job. You have to define it with just intense specificity.
Like the exact model of the car.
The exact model of the car, the specific neighborhood you want to live in, the whole 10-year plan laid out. Because that level of detail, it acts like a cognitive roadmap. It becomes a non-negotiable deadline for your brain.
So the detail isn't really about the stuff, the objects. It's about making the goal so real, so tangible, that it activates the next part of the plan.
Which is?
Realizing that manifesting is fundamentally work, not luck.
Exactly. And this just cuts right through that passive idea that you just, ask the universe and it delivers.
Right.
The strategy here is hard work. It's dedication. It's consistency, all applied to these little micro milestones.
So give me an example from the sources.
Okay, so to meet a really aggressive monthly sales goal, the strategy wasn't hoping for some huge order to come in. It was about applying relentless control.
Like waking up at 4 a.m.
Waking up at 4 a.m. every single day to pack orders, just to guarantee the outcome. Or for something smaller, like an expensive pair of shoes, it was identifying one non-optional task, picking up one extra delivery every day, and fund it.
I think the part of this framework that people might struggle with is the call for delusion. They frame being delusional as the only way you can achieve delusional things. If the goal is that big, your belief system has to be just as outsized.
It's psychological leverage. It's a tool. They talk about telling a doorman at a luxury building, hey, I'm going to live here one day, or
fake it till you make it, brand.
Well, they call it that, but it's better described as practicing the vision until it's real.
Okay.
It could be something as simple as putting a temporary visual on your floor that looks like the marble you want, just to mentally inhabit the reality. That practice calibrates your daily habits, posts them for the outcome.
But the whole thing just collapses if you don't do the final step.
Yes, the why.
They stress that the whole strategy is empty without it. You have to know the deep, non-trivial reason behind the goal. That's the heartbeat of dream chasing.
Because it's not really about the money or the views, is it?
Never. It's about seeking connection, or acceptance, or community. That's the stuff that fuels those 4 a.m. starts when the whole process feels impossible.
That idea of identifying true, deep value, it's a perfect bridge to our second section. We're shifting from personal goals to societal status.
And this paradox of competence versus rank.
Exactly. We see it again and again. Competence almost never aligns neatly with someone's official title, which gives us the almighty janitor trope.
I love this trope. It's so true. It's the symbolic power of the low-status worker who actually holds all the institutional knowledge. They see the system from the ground up. They know all the flaws, all the weird dependencies, while the management is, isolated in a conference room looking at a spreadsheet.
And that pattern of hidden expertise, it shows up everywhere. In the sources, we saw it in sci-fi.
Oh, the chief of non-essential systems.
Right. He ends up curing a planet-wide plague because he was the only one who understood the basic infrastructure. Or in military strategy, like Wedge Antilles in Star Wars.
A classic. He kept turning down promotions to general.
And not because he wasn't competent enough, he just didn't want a desk job. He wanted to stay in the fight to remain effective and tactical.
So it's a deliberate choice. A tactical choice to stay effective by avoiding all that administrative friction that comes with a big title.
They value expertise over status, but our digital age has just completely flipped that idea on its head.
Absolutely. The whole hierarchy has shifted. Now it's built on visibility, on influence, and that's often completely disconnected from actual skill.
And this has huge psychological consequences for you, for anyone listening. This pressure to present a perfect filtered life has led to things like Snapchat dysmorphia.
Where people are actually getting surgery to look more like their AI-enhanced selfies.
Yes, and then they're disappointed because those images set a totally unrealistic standard.
And the chase for this kind of visible-only status creates such a toxic environment. We saw that example of the Influencer Olympics.
Oh, right, where your entire experience is based purely on your follower count.
But here's the critical detail. The people who got in, they felt forced to lie about how miserable the reality was.
Just to protect their brand, their status.
Their value wasn't in their skill or their experience. It was in maintaining a profitable lie.
It's this brutal self-optimization loop. The whole strategy becomes about maintaining the illusion, even when the reality is actually damaging you. Competence is just devalued in favor of performance.
It's really easy to focus on these individual strategies, but these same kinds of high-stakes strategic leaps are happening at a global level. We shift over to government and global trade, we're seeing this massive acceleration towards data-driven governance. The state is becoming a predictive participant.
It's trying to anticipate what citizens need before they even ask.
And the speed of this change is just staggering. The move to open government data portals, OGD, it's gone from just 24% of countries in 2014
to 80% in 2020.
That's a fourfold increase in 6 years. It shows this global push for efficiency and transparency through data.
But that speed, it creates new risks. The infrastructure is just way ahead of the guardrails.
How so?
Well, of the 153 countries that have these OGD portals, only 114 actually have advanced policy in place. That means a huge policy gap, which makes data management and privacy really complicated.
And that tension, that regulatory tension, is actually driving innovation in some really high-stakes fields.
Like customs and trade security.
Exactly. They're moving away from the old way of doing things, which was very document-focused, and they're moving towards something called decision intelligence.
Which is basically using advanced data fusion and link analysis to find hidden connections. It's like finding the data-driven version of that almighty janitor who knows where all the system's flaws are.
So the whole focus shifts. You're not just checking the object anymore, you're analyzing the aggregation and intent.
You're not just looking for illegal goods, you're looking for patterns. Patterns of seemingly harmless components that, when put together, signal fraud.
The classic example is illicit cigarettes.
Right. The tobacco, the paper, the filters, they're all legal items individually. But when you see their combined volume and their shipping route, you can see the fraudulent intent.
And to fight that kind of sophisticated fraud, you need incredible precision.
Which is why they're moving beyond those big old X-ray machines to computer tomography or CT technology, but optimized for cargo.
And that increases the material specificity.
Dramatically. It lets them precisely distinguish between organic and inorganic materials, which just slashes the false alarm rate and speeds up legitimate trade for everyone.
So it's this relentless, data-driven hunt for predictability. And yet, there's a mathematical wall to all of it.
There is. Our sources brought up this concept of computational irreducibility.
Which is a fundamental limit.
It is. It says that for some really complex processes, the only way to know the outcome is to just run the process. There is no predictive shortcut.
It's like cooking a really complicated meal with 100 precise steps.
That's a perfect analogy. You can't predict the exact final taste without following every single step in order. The process is the shortest path to the answer. So even if the universe is deterministic, to us as observers inside it, it remains fundamentally unpredictable.
And that mathematical limit on prediction brings us right back to unpredictable human dynamics. Specifically, attraction and social leverage. You know, we always hear that power is the ultimate aphrodisiac, but the sources we looked at give a much more nuanced picture, a kind of matrix of attraction.
Right. While, yes, power and physical looks, they signal good genes, and that drives short-term interest.
They're not the only things that matter for a lasting partnership.
Not at all. The sources really emphasize that intellect and kindness are essential for a long-term commitment. They signal resourcefulness, trustworthiness, stable support.
This is the psychology behind a term like sapiosexual.
Exactly. It's a strategy. It's about seeking a partner who provides security and growth, not just, temporary excitement.
So if attraction has these metrics, then charisma can actually be engineered.
To a degree, yes. The sources point to 3 specific skills for building this kind of non-aggressive, long-term magnetism.
The first one is targeted attention,
which just means giving your full focus to the other person, making them feel like they're the only one in the room.
The second is warm confidence. So positive energy that lifts people up, but without ever being needy.
And the third, which I found fascinating, is unbothered energy.
What's that?
It's showing that you are so grounded in your own value that you just stay completely calm and unaffected by negativity or social friction. It signals this kind of psychological dominance, but without aggression, and people instinctively respect that.
I was actually shocked at how you get. One source even broke down a CIA tactic
For dating.
for preventing a target from gaining leverage or dominance over you, even in a dating scenario.
And that's the parallel conversation tactic.
Explain that.
If you're attracted to someone or you want to get information from them, you strategically talk to someone parallel to them, not directly at them.
And the goal is to seem like a non-threat.
A non-threat, exactly. But it also triggers their subconscious desire for your attention. It's a way to get closer to your objective, whether that's information or romance, without giving up control or power.
That sort of speaks to another surprising insight, the desire gap, especially as it relates to men.
Yes, that was a really interesting point. The source argues that most men very rarely feel that sense of spontaneous, non-transactional desire.
They're wanted for a specific contribution.
Right, for their financial power or their body, their utility, but not just for who they are as a person.
And they make the powerful point that men need to feel genuinely desired for the fullest expression of their sexuality and their humanity.
It really pushes for a more sophisticated way of looking at male emotional needs, getting past the assumption that their drives are just simple or purely biological.
Okay, let's try to unpack this entire really complex deep dive. What stands out to me is this synthesis, that success, whether it's a personal goal or a global system, it requires specific relentless action. You need the CT scanning precision to analyze cargo, and you need the psychological priming to believe in the unbelievable, but then you have to back it with that 4 a.m. work ethic.
It proves that strategy is just a foundational human thing. We have this deep, deep need for control and clarity, whether you're using classic tools like a SWOT analysis or these modern vision boards. We're all just trying to impose some kind of order on a fundamentally chaotic world.
But then we crash right into that hard mathematical wall.
Yeah.
Computational irreducibility.
Right.
So, if the complex process of your life literally cannot be predicted without just living it, how does that knowledge change the way you apply that bold, relentless action?
Well, if the future is fundamentally unpredictable, even if it is deterministic, then certainty can't be your strategy.
So what is?
The greatest strategy is simply the willingness to play the game repeatedly, to just execute those specific demanding steps over and over.
So we're left with this provocative thought, really.
Yeah.
You can't wait for a predictive shortcut that mathematically might not even exist.
So the question for you, for the listener, is this. What calculated risk have you been holding back on because you're waiting for some guarantee of success? You have to play to win.